Hello everyone, Lord Daimyo here, and today we are going to be talking about some extra special secret stuff about Candy Flurry. Stay tuned. So, as you all may know, Candy Flurry has been cancelled at manga chapter 19, but we got some information in the past and here recently about some like behind the scenes stuff, some did you know fact stuff, and we're just kind of going to be talking about that today in today's video. So let's just jump into it. So, trying not to clickbait you on the thumbnail for too long, let's take a look at this tweet right here by Santa Mitarashi sensei. He's the artist, or was the artist for Candy Flurry. Past tense is hard for me to say. So he did the art for Candy Flurry. And he's pretty active on Twitter. And he tweeted this a while ago, actually. I mean, if you see here, June 15. So I've been sitting on this for a while. Just haven't had the time to make the video, but I got some more content, so let's do it. So right here we find out that Misaki, who, at this point in the series, was kind of getting overshadowed by like EDA, Umino, and then we finally got back to him there towards the end. But he was originally supposed to be a chocolate chip cookie sweet user, which we actually get to see a cool art of Misaki with his hands being chocolate chips, which I think is cool and unique because every other sweet user just created the sweet, like from something. They didn't replace their body part with a sweet. So like, I know the macaroon user had like macaroons in his hand that he would like clamp down on people, but I think those were just like covering his hands. Same with the gummy user. The gummy was just covering his hand. I don't think his hand turned into a macaroon or a gummy. But in this picture right here, and I might be looking at it wrong, but it certainly looks like Misaki's hand turned into a chocolate chip cookie. Now, he could just be like creating a chocolate chip coating over his hand or something, but it certainly looks cool. So then, this is really all that we found out about it. Well, let's do a little speculation here, just for fun. So, if Misaki had this, that would have been cool, because it would have had like the three gang, Tsumugi, Misaki, EDA. They all three would have been sweet users. But would that also make Misaki one of the 5 Stella Entremont? Who knows? Which also that's talking about the Stella Entremont. We did not find out who the other 4 were in the series, and this is quite upsetting. But stay tuned, because I'm going to be making a video about that and other unsolved mysteries and unresolved issues from the, quick cancellation, the the premature cancellation of Candy Flurry. So stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about all those. I don't think Misaki would have been. I think Misaki would have been around the same kind of character-ish, but just not the I'm no good at fighting, or I'm not strong character, which seems like most of his character. But he was also very trusting of Tsumugi. He was also a good friend. He was loyal, and he was kind of dumb and naive, but I think those characteristics would have shown through and stayed, but more of I'm a seasoned fighter as well, and I can take out enemies just as well, which we really didn't get to see Misaki fight a lot. Anyways, some of his powers, I would think that he could shoot those chocolate chips out like bullets or whatever. Just imagine a barrage of chocolate chips flying at you. I mean, that's what this picture looks like. Is you're looking at a villain all angry. He's got his hand out. And I just imagine he's going to outstretch his arm. His hand's going to be facing towards the villain. And just hundreds of just chocolate chips just start flying at the villain at lightning fast speed. That's what I imagine, which I think would be pretty cool. Or maybe the cookie texture kind of looks dry and rock-like. And that skin texture reminded me of The Thing from the Fantastic Four. So maybe the cookie bits could also be like a armor, like over his body. So I think the only other thing that we got remotely close to this was the villainous cookie user. And he just made like giant cookies is all, and like crashed into the school and used it to like deflect like ice cream against EDA or something. So, which I'm sure Misaki could have done that too, but this was probably a unique hero sort of thing you could do. So yeah, what would the story have been like if Misaki was a chocolate chip cookie user? Well, I'm not really, I talked about it a little bit, but I'm not really going to go into it full detail what I think on this video. I'm going to save it for another video. Be looking forward to that. I'm going to be doing one or two, maybe a couple what if sort of scenarios for Candy Flurry. Just seeing what the story would have been like if certain things had happened. So, be looking forward to that. Now let's move on to these new things that Santa Sensei has been posting on his Twitter. So he has released 4 at the time of recording. And at the time of posting, I guess I'll just post it today. But he's released 4 pages. Either like deleted pages, deleted scenes, different tellings from the story. And I think there's one that's like a little offshoot. But they're very interesting. We actually get a couple good insights behind the scenes sort of looks. And the first of them, I think, is one of the most important. Because one concern I had with the story ending so quick is we didn't get names for a lot of people. But in this page right here, we get the name of the popcorn user. So yes, this is all in Japanese. And it took me a little while with the kanji because still learning my kanji. But I've translated all of these for you. And let's get into it. So, of course, manga style, starting at the top right, we've got the gum user saying, whatever. Even if you don't hurry now, you'll still see her soon. So, I mean, this is obviously after Tsumugi and the popcorn user fought, and Tsumugi defeated him, but the gum user shows up to stop the fight and to take the popcorn user back. So, obviously, gum user's telling the popcorn user, let's go, you'll meet her again soon, whatever. So the popcorn user here in this first panel saying, hold on, wait, dang it, hold on. Next panel over, still at the top, he says, yeah, God, stop, He's it looks like he's trying to chew through the gum to speak. So he's just saying a bunch of like muffled stuff and hold on and, stuff like that. So here in the middle section, the third panel, where it's just a close-up on his face yelling, this is the reveal we get. He says, yeah, remember it. I'm Skullcorn. He says, and what's your name? So, obviously this is where we got the confusion of them thinking Misaki was the lollipop user. So we get insight into that. And we get insight to the popcorn user's name. Now, the direct translation I came up with was, I'm a Skullcorn, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume his name is Skullcorn, which makes sense. Corn being popcorn, his sweet ability, and skull because he did have that skull shirt on, and the hair of the skull was his hair. So I'm sure this is not his real name. This is his like villain name. And he likes skulls. He likes the cool punk rock sort of look. Got the skull with his hair on it. He's a popcorn user. Skullcorn. It makes sense to me. I love it. Skullcorn. So we finally, the series had to end. But Skullcorn is the popcorn user's name. And he wants to know Tsurugi's name. So he says, and what's your name? So at the very bottom, Tsurugi answers, this was so good. She said, even the name isn't good. And this last panel shows Skullcorn just so upset. Because if you remember, this was her just completely dissing him on his clothing and his attitude and everything. Like, did you make that yourself? And just insulting him so much. And so he tells her his big, scary, villainous name, Skullcorn. And she replies, not with what her name is, but even the name's bad. This was so great to see, not just for more interaction between Tsurugi and Skullcorn, which unfortunately at the end of the series we didn't get. We got Skullcorn and Umino finally fighting, and Skullcorn losing to Umino, but we didn't ever really get to see a Skullcorn and Tsurugi interaction again, which would have been great. Stay tuned for those future videos where I'll be talking about, hypothetical situations like that. But Skullcorn finally got the name. Let's go on to the next page that we got revealed. Okay, here is the next one. This is, I forget exactly which chapter, but this is where Tsurugi and Misaki are fighting the gummy user in the school, and the gum and cookie user are left to fight EDA. So they're outside the school. You can see in these panels in the background, these are just rough sketches, but you can still see in the background the school, the giant tree, and it's, I believe, it looks like it's towards the beginning of the fight, really, where Gummy went to go and, get Misaki. So this looks way before they were on the roof or anything, or EDA's had a confeto. So let's start here at the top. The gum user, again, just like the previous one, is setting up the scene. He's telling, this is a rough translation, this is a direct translation. It said, you should kill the place where the woman was in the nest. I'm just going to use my translator abilities to just say, he probably said, you should destroy the place she came from. So you should destroy the school, is what I would guess he's saying. So I think the gum user is telling the cookie user, hey, we should destroy the school. We should take out the whole place. She came from the school, let's destroy the school. And then this is really weird. I don't know how familiar you all are with Japanese font, but the font for all the characters is like a standard font, except for the cookie user. And he has more of a like handwritten font. So it seems maybe more elegant or more rudimentary, where either like he's fancy, so it's a fancier font, or since it's a handwritten font, maybe it's something like, I'm not educated enough to speak in a standard font. So either way, the cookie user is different from the gum user and EDA. So keep that in mind. So the cookie user simply here just says us, which means thin. So just thin. I don't know what kind of response to you should destroy the school where he just says thin. But apparently he was looking at EDA when he said thin. And EDA replies in this next panel. She says, wait a minute. And what? The third panel, where it's a close-up of EDA, she says, what's this thin that you said? And she said, what's that mean? Like, what's thin? And then it shows the cookie user just not saying anything, just like I'm sure he's like shoot, she heard me. And so then it goes to Irie again. This is the fifth panel, her with just her eye, and she says, what's thin again? So the second to last panel, the cookie user, he just quietly to himself says, "Oh, it's nothing. Oh, I didn't say anything. Nothing." And then the last panel, it shows EDA, and she says, "I think it's better if you reply properly." And the cookie user just says like, "Oh yes, sure." So this is a humorous back and forth where it seems like, because I think this also plays a part with in the actual story where the gum user was saying that EDA was attractive and it's a pity to hit such a beautiful girl, and she's like, "Don't you think that's sexual harassment?" And they're like, "Yeah, dude, what are you doing?" He's like, "No, I didn't mean it like that." I think this is part of that as well, where the cookie user even responded on how attractive she is. Thin might mean something different. It might just mean like a general like attractive physique or something, or just general attractiveness. But he's saying something. She's thin. She's attractive, and they're far away, as you can see. And so he just says it so weird, so differently. She's like, "You should speak properly. You should say it properly. What did you say? What's thin?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing. Oh, yes, ma'am, I'll speak properly." It's just a funny back and forth before they fight. I really enjoyed it. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, this next one is pretty cool. It was a little weird to translate, but we'll get into it. So this is the last chapter, or the chapter 18. And Misaki sees Tsumugi in her giant lollipop mech. And I'm assuming he's trying to get up to her to get her the confeto, like at the end of the series. So he is on the phone with her in the very top panel, and he says, "What? So what is this? Like, what's this? What's happening? What's going on? What is this?" And this is really weird. It says, "Pedo candy," which pedo, as we all know, is the onomatopoeia for licking. It's the licking sound. Candy, obviously candy. So I had never known the Japanese word for lollipop, but it's pedo candy, which licking candy, I mean, it makes sense. So pedo candy, she says, this is a lollipop, So in the next panel, it shows Misaki just shocked. He's like, "What's the, why is it shaped like this, right? Why is it imitating a robot? Why is it shaped the way it is?" To which Tsumugi responds in the mech. She says, it's no longer like constrained to a shape. It's been mixed. I've tweaked it. I've modified it. And in the third panel, where it's just Misaki's face, he says, so is this a lollipop, or like what? Like what? How? What is this exactly? And the very last panel, where it shows Tsumugi, passionately talking, she says a great line. I absolutely love it. "If you can lick it and it's on a stick, then it's a lollipop." Which then the very last word box is from Misaki, which is great. He says, "Are you going to lick this?" So it's great. More comedy. So awesome. I really liked this. I was reading some of the response, like the replies for this tweet, and it was from like the Japanese audience of Candy Flurry. And I think a couple of them were saying, "Oh, it's cool we saw the name of the mech." And I thought there might be some translation issue from what I'm getting from reading their replies, or I translated this wrong. Because the only thing she ever refers to this mech as is pedo pedo candy. So as a lollipop. And when I translated it, it made it seem like she was explaining to Misaki that this is a lollipop. I mean, this whole page is just, what's this robot? It's a lollipop. How's it shaped like this? You know, how can it technically be a lollipop? And Tsumugi saying, if you can lick it and it's on a stick, it's a lollipop. Who cares about the shape? I changed the shape. It's still a lollipop. It still counts, right? As my power. So maybe I'm missing something, and maybe the name of the mech is Lollipop, or Pedo Pedo, or Pedo Pedo Robot, or Lollipop Robot, or Pedo Pedo Candy. Who knows? I mean, it might have a name, might not. I just, would consider it the Lollipop mech, the Lollipop Robot. So, but this was a really cool one. And then let's take a look at this last one we've got. Okay, this one is not like from the story. This is a unique extra sort of thing. And it shows Misaki and Tsumugi at a fair. So Misaki, being so happy, says, Yatta, we all know that's hooray. He said, I scooped a goldfish. So he was doing the goldfish game at the festival and scooped a goldfish. But apparently this wasn't his first time, because Tsumugi says, yeah, but how many times have you tried? So, because I think you can see back there all the little goldfish nets back there. I think maybe you pay for one net, one scoop, and those are all the remaining ones that he wasn't able to scoop a goldfish with. So they're just sitting back there that he's paid for. So, poor Misaki. Tried so hard, but finally succeeded, so I love it. But it got a little to his head. So in the second panel in the middle, he says, okay, let's go, as he stands up. And in the next panel, Tsumugi says, where? Like, what about the festival? Like, we're leaving, And the last panel, as the fireworks are going off and Misaki's holding his goldfish in a bag, just so happy, he says, let's go. We have to buy gravel, aquarium food, aquarium plants, an aquarium. We have to buy all this stuff for his brand new goldfish. And Tsumugi says, but, like, what about the festival? Like, are you sure? Can we buy this stuff at the festival? Like, you're just going to leave. This is the whole reason why you came, was to get a goldfish. And now we're leaving? Like, are you buying it at the festival? What's going on? So, I thought this was funny, comical. I think it shows, this is a classic sort of anime trope sort of thing. You always have the dumber character and the more rational character. I think that's in all comedic sketches. So, Misaki's just happy he finally got a goldfish, and Tsumugi's just befuddled by him acting so passionate about his new best goldfish friend. So, I loved this one too. But that is all that we have so far. I hope and I think Santa Sensei will release more of these, and if he does, believe me, I'll compile some together, put them in videos. And there are a couple of these extra ones at the end of the first manga volume, which is all Japanese. I'm still working on translating that to get that out to you guys, because who knows if it's going to come in English or any other language. But, and then if there are extra ones in like volume 2 or 3, believe me, it might take some time, but I'll get to them, I'll get them translated, we will find out what they say so that we can continue talking about Candy Flurry, because I love it. So, let me know in the comments down below what you think about Misaki being a chocolate chip cookie user originally. Let me know what you think about these new special panels or special pages we're getting from Santa Sensei. And let me know what you guys think about Skullcorn as a name. But let me know in those comments down below. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. I tweet about Candy Flurry and other stuff. Link is in the description down below. I follow everyone back. And if you want, show Santa Sensei some love and follow him on Twitter as well. I'll put his Twitter link in the description as well. But thank you very much for watching, and have a fantastic day.